I'm going to be recording episode 1 and potentially uploading it to YouTube, depending on how well it goes, or how well it doesn't go. If it's hilariously bad, we'll see.
I mean, if it's hilariously bad, that's just as good as it being hilariously good, right?
Um, it's better
I mean,
than
look at
being
the
boring.
exactly. Look at the first couple episodes of like the Glass Cannon podcast.
I think we have better sound quality.
We might. It's debatable though. I currently don't hear some form of ambulance or cop car in the background of anything, so we must be doing better than that.
All
So
right.
I only have this character up to level 10,
Oh,
as far as I can speak on it. I just flat out ran out of time. But
I, I, I
I,
think that
I
doing the 20 levels of NPC is a bit much. I did 20 levels of NPC, but I didn't do their gear, so all of those levels have to change. And now that I'm thinking about it, I made an elf with keen senses, and I forgot to apply the +2 keen senses bonus to every single one of their perceptions.
yeah. Uh, Before you talked to me about a little about building tools to fill all this stuff in. I can do that. Like the only one I did was health, and it's because this is a barbarian,
Right.
and the stat blocks for barbarians put out by Paizo has two different stat blocks. You have your major stat blocks for when it's raging, and then you have this uh base statistics when not raging, and it lists all the same stuff, but all what they're doing when they're not raging. And then because what we're doing first also has an animal companion, you also need to do hit points per level for an animal companion.
And if you go the raging companion route, the raging animal companion
Oh,
stats.
geez, yeah. I
I
I
did.
did not take that route.
I didn't take that route either. No, that sounds like an enormous pain,
Yeah.
and it's not worth it. That's the
And
kind of
so,
thing you want to use a computer system to handle. You don't actually want to do the pen and paper thing, or you want to have multiple
I
character sheets for when it's raging and
yeah.
when it's not. Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds ridiculous. Oh, there should be a CR7. Yeah, that sounds like it'd be really hard without a bunch of tools. I guess eventually I could just build a program that does it all for us. But
Uh, I mean, I started building one, and then I realized that it takes more effort to program it for each character based on how I'm doing this. That my method is not going to work.
yeah, so the way that I would end up doing it is essentially using C sharp, using the format that Paizo puts out, and having each block go into a database. And then it pulls those stats from the database and does level adjustments. So you wouldn't need to do like you wouldn't need to you just need to say, is it a full BAB, a three quarters BAB, half BAB, and then
Hmm.
it would just automatically populate all that. And then once you put in your base stats, as you level up, when you hit level 4, it would just say, where do you want this +1 to go? And then if you have anything that it has an adjustment to a base stat, to an attribute, like a belt of not a belt of wisdom. If you get a belt of wisdom, it would just apply it to your wisdom score, and it would adjust everything from that score. But I'm not there yet, so that's maybe someday. And it also just output it in the form that Paizo puts out for character sheets. Uh, but yep, not there yet. Still using Excel spreadsheets right now.
Yep, that's basically what I'm doing.
So because I have your stream, I can kind of see your stuff.
Yeah, this
Uh,
is this is right now just the gear table that I'm working with. I could make it a bit more advanced, like I could actually get a sum here instead of doing the math myself like an actual amateur.
Well, you may or may not realize this, but the gold total that it says that you're supposed to have is actually at level 1, 10 gold less than if you add up all the gear.
I I did not realize that.
Yeah, I was because on
290.
the table it says you're supposed to have this much, and then I just went, oh, sum these across. I'm like, wait, why is the sum of the gear greater than the amount it says you're supposed to have? So not even Paizo can agree on the same table what its rules for NPC wealth is.
And they don't follow the rules for NPC wealth at all. I mean, if, I looked up several example characters, like Barbarian NPC 1.
Yep, the
And
ones that
they give
starts with a
you.
breastplate.
I mean, you can. I don't know about starting with a breastplate. One started with chainmail and a heavy wooden shield. So chainmail is all 150 of their 150 protection at level 1. So I don't know how they have a shield other than they just completely ignore the. I mean, the battle axe is 30 gold out of their 100 allotted. So obviously that's where the money came from. But yeah, they just kind of ignore their own rules when making NPCs, which we could
Agreed.
as well.
I mean, and at points I do adjust up and down slightly some of
Yeah,
those things.
yeah. Like
Uh,
I've got my level 4 character has overspent in weapons by 21 gold and underspent in armor by 190. So because I just don't know how to balance out some of these. Like what I've been doing for a lot of these is I need 300 gold in defense. I say a potion of bear's endurance is 300 gold in defense. Why not?
yep. Of course, that's also limited use, but not. Yeah, it gets complicated.
Yeah, yeah. Um, it would probably be a lot easier if we just completely ignored the expected allotment of gear and just said, "Oh, we've got 2,400 gold to play with at this level."
Yeah, I would agree with that. So let's jump into, if you don't mind, what is this first character?
All right.
What did you decide is the class? How
So
classy is this class?
I've got a character map of all of the different classes and how many characters I have developed for each of those classes because I'm a nerd. Uh, and we're starting with Barbarian, and I've actually got multiple Barbarians. This one isn't listed. Elf. This character was originally designed as an NPC. He's supposed to be a mini boss that my players can find and fight. He is a barbarian and he is a burn rider, or Shawanti burn rider if you want to use the official Paizo name as opposed to the SRD name.
Yep. It took me a little while to find it because of the Shawanti. I wasn't sure when you said that if it was the Shawanti Burn Rider or if it was a different like twist on that, like there's like the Ember something Barbarian as well. And I'm like, we'll just go with the Burn Rider based on what he said. It's probably this Burn Rider thing because when I got to a certain point looking at what it can do, I'm like, oh yeah, he broke this. He definitely broke this.
Yes.
I'm actually gonna have to attempt to not break this.
I don't know. Your character's probably a lot more powerful than mine.
Uh, Perhaps mine is generically strong. My character, my Shawanti Burn Rider build is if you want your player, if you're like, in my idea of how this works is you're like trying to explore a cavern or a temple in barbarian lands, and they already have some entrenched down in there, but none of them are on their mounts. And so the players would like beat up on these generically strong but not mounted burn riders. And then they get out and they come across like the chieftain. And the chieftain is on his fully medium armored mount that does ride by tilts and pounces. And they're like, this isn't the same thing that we just fought. And the GM is like, it's actually the exact same thing. It just happens to be on a horse this time. Because when you add the horse, it becomes much more terrifying.
Oh yes, yes. That's like a a cavalier with the barbarian ability to pounce is genuinely horrifying. Like that's just an astronomical amount of damage.
Yep, I will admit that the barbarian version, as barbarians usually are, uh, lower AC than like the cavalier version, right?
Mm-hmm.
AC is not quite as high. It's not capable of wearing heavy armor unless I would have given it the feat. So, and the rage also removes some of that defensive capability. However, the amount of hit points it gets while raging, even if you're trading off, and I'm gonna go with a full BAB like at level 20 character. A full BAB character is gonna hit the Burn Rider attacks 1 and 2. 3/4 BAB, gonna hit it first attack, no other attacks, and a half BAB might not be able to hit it at all. So we're still looking at a hang and bang barbarian that just happens to get 6x damage on a charge. You know?
Oh, that's terrifying.
It's just generically strong, right?
Yes.
Anytime you get to stack your multipliers on a charge, it's generically strong. Uh, and I want to preface this a little bit with saying that no matter how you want to build this, there is no right way to build a character in Pathfinder First Edition. There are many wrong ways, but there's no right way. And I think that's one of the things that makes Pathfinder First Edition a lot of fun is you can mess up a build and make your character really bad. You can do what I do and do a generically strong character, or you can do what Rift does and do this incredibly broken thing that your GM is going to say, I'm actually just going to not allow you to do this anymore. Like, it's just something that can happen.
Like my idea for this character, it's like originally it's a mini boss. Like you break into this tomb and this guy's been there for 3,500 years, in constant rage, forever. And the room is filled with smoke, so that's a whole additional level of difficulty because these guys can see in smog or in fire, fog, and smoke without any penalty. So they've got vision control, and they're a barbarian that it's just really cool.
Yeah, because at level 2 they get something called Cinder Sight, which says the Shawani Burn Rider can see through fog, fire, and smoke without penalty as long as the light is sufficient to allow her to see normally. This ability replaces Uncanny Dodge. So assuming that your cavern has low light, your elf sees fine, right? Because elves have low light. And drow have dark vision?
Yeah, drow have dark vision. Low light vision in general, it only allows you to see normally in natural lighting. Inside of a cavern, it doesn't actually remove the concealment chance, but yeah.
Okay. But yes, so that is, it's one of those fun little things that even if you were just going to do like a 2-level dip for Cinder Sight, it might be worth it with some other builds because the ability to like cast fog and various forms of smoke and no one else can see but you can, it can be pretty strong.
Yeah, but it can also screw over your party members if you use it incorrectly or if they're not prepared. So be sure to
Yeah, Paizo.
coordinate. Make sure that your cleric or wizard has Ashen Path. That's a great spell.
Yeah, let's face it. By like the second or third time you do this trick, they better be prepared for it.
So this is
Yeah,
Ashen Path. Lasts 10 minutes per level. The ability to breathe with ease? That doesn't sound right. Okay. In addition, the creature can see through magical obscuring effects caused by dense ash, smoke, fog, or similar concealment up to a distance of 60 feet.
right.
You can cast the spell on multiple creatures, but if you do, divide the duration evenly among all creatures you touch. But yeah, a party that uses vision control is like a coordinated party that uses vision control is very strong. And the Burn Rider just gets it for free.
Yep. Until you meet that one monster that also gets to see through it, and then the party's very surprised.
Yes.
Uh, starting at third level, you get something called Cinder Dance. When a Burn Rider succeeds at a reflex save to avoid fire damage, she can spend an immediate action to move up to half her speed. If the Burn Rider ends this movement outside of the area effect, she takes no damage from the effect. After the sudden movement, the Burn Rider is staggered until the end of her next turn. If the Burn Rider is mounted, her mount makes the movement instead, and both the mount and the Burn Rider are staggered until the end of the Burn Rider's next turn. This ability replaces Trap Sense. Now, the fact that they're staggered is very important because most other abilities that do this sort of thing say fatigued, and that's not what you want in a rage build.
That's definitely not what you want in a rage build. Also, this essentially gives you evasion again. You get evasion. So if somebody throws a fireball at you and your mount, you can potentially just move out of the fireball and take no damage, which is nice because you don't want fire resistance.
Yeah, but you also just want to, like, depending on how your build is with this, you might just want to take the fireball to the face.
Yeah, it can give you an additional round of rage, and there's also what I did is I took the elemental companion to give my horse the fire type or subtype, so it is immune to fire damage and can see through smoke and fog and fire.
That's pretty neat. The animal companion for mine is just your typical animal companion,
Hmm.
which, in a way, degrades the build for NPCs because you still only get NPC money, so that protection money is now cut in half between you and your mount at each level. So it does kind of create that sort of issue. Plus, since a mount is large and quadrupedial, the gear costs 4 times more. So if you want a breastplate's worth of resistance on a horse, it costs 800 gold. Which means you really don't get anything like that until like level 7.
Right.
That's when you finally get enough money to split and say, oh yeah, I'm willing to take this hit to my AC so my horse can have medium bargain. At level 4, you get your animal companion. And it has to be a horse.
Absolutely. Always a horse or a pony if you're small.
Right. And Paizo does the normal thing. It says that there can be additional options at the GM's discretion. But primarily by raw, which is what Rift and I go by. If it says you can have a horse or a pony, you can have a horse or a pony. Because that's how it works.
If you do homebrew stuff, then you can have anything that you want, and what's the point in having rules at that point, right?
I mean, rules are meant to be broken. In which case, that would mean that these rules were meant to be followed because you're already breaking the rules,
A little bit,
right?
I suppose.
But my mount doesn't really get anything cool. Uh, it takes it pretty much just improves its speed, improves its ability to wear armor, and that's it. Improves natural armor because it doesn't want to get taken out. The mount is not meant to deal damage in this build. The mount is simply meant to make you get from here to there on a charge and make it so you have that stacking multiplier from the lance. And that's it. If the mount goes down for some reason, it does suck. Because now you're just a hang and bang barbarian. I say just. You're still a hang and bang barbarian. You've just taken away all the feats that make this particular hang and bang barbarian better than other hang and bang barbarians.
Right. All right. So, do we want to go over, like, actually show the builds right now?
No, I'm happy with talking about them and then having the links posted. And then if they want to actually like bring them up, they can be like, "Oh shit, look at this." But that's mostly it. Now, does your Shawanti Burn Rider, does it have a deficiency? Something that's just like, "Oh, this is bad."
Um. Well, if somebody can see into the smoke on mine, then ranged attacks are probably his biggest bane. At best, he's got a few javelins. Maybe at extremely high levels, I could afford a longbow, but that's... I'm not going to be good at it. My barbarian is really meant to be a hang and bang barbarian. And I don't really get the mounted feats until starting level 15. So,
Oh wow.
yeah.
So at
My
level
character-
15, you finally get mounted combat?
Yes, at level 15 is when I finally get mounted combat. My character's design is basically there's supposed to be NPC soldiers for a evil empire or something like that. That's the original goal for it. If you want to play as a character with this build, well, let's get into the 5th level ability of the Burn Rider to explain what I do with mine.
Yeah. 4th level, you get your mount. 5th level, you get this this wee little thing called Give Me Fire. At 5th level, if a Shawanti Burn Rider takes fire damage while raging, she regains 1 round of rage. 1 round of rage. The Burn Rider regains the round of rage only if the fire damage bypasses or exceeds any energy resistance or other protections in effect. The Burn Rider can only regain 1 round of rage per round. This ability replaces Uncanny Dodge. So, this is cool for my barbarian, but not a linchpin. No, it's not one of those things where like, man, this is what I'm going to lean into. I could see how broken this could be. This is incredibly broken. If you have something that deals 1 point of fire damage to you per round, and you just let it, and you regain 1 hit point per round, you would literally just rage and burn forever.
Right. That's exactly what I did with mine. So, there is a special material called Sicketite. Special material Sicketite. This shining silver metal is either incredibly hot or freezing cold when found. As of yet, scholars have not determined whether Sicketite is actually 2 similarly hued metals or a single type that determines its own temperature via some unknown process. The important thing is, Sicketite Armor or weapons deal 1 point, Sikatite weapons deal 1 point of damage of the appropriate energy type each time it strikes a foe, but also deals 1 point of the same energy damage to the wielder each round it is used in combat. Sikatite armor deals 1 point of energy damage, fire or cold, per round to a creature wearing it, and it deals 1 point of the same energy damage each full round to a creature that is grappled by someone wearing Sikatite armor. So Cold Sikatite armor grants fire resistance 5. Hot Sikatite armor grants cold resistance 5. And it costs 1,000 for a Sikatite weapon and 6,000 for a Sikatite armor. So I essentially trap my soldiers in white hot burning metal that burns them every round, maintaining their rage forever. And at level 6, they pick up the Regenerative Vigor Barbarian Rage Power, which gives you Fast Healing 1. And at level 12, it goes up to Fast Healing 2. So at level 12, you don't even need a healer so long as you have downtime between combats. You just burn forever.
And we'll ignore the fact that you can never use an intelligence, wisdom, or charisma-based skill again. But let's face it, that's not your role in the party.
Actually, this may come as a shock, but there are several ways to use those abilities while burning forever. I didn't go with any of them because that's not your purpose in the party. Right. But yeah, you'll never use an intelligence skill again. I don't even put ranks in an intelligence skill.
So that's how you've broken.
Yes.
Give Me Fire is the very last ability it gets, right? It doesn't get any after that.
No, in fact, it simply removes powers after that. 8th, 12th, and 16th level rage powers. You lose all of the trap sense bonuses.
Well, that's a weird one because it says that this replaces trap sense, but it doesn't say trap sense at every level.
Generally speaking, when it removes a feature like that, it removes it at every level. The real question, though, is you get improved uncanny dodge at 5th level. No, you don't. Never mind.
You do get improved uncanny dodge, don't you?
No, Give Me Fire replaces that one specifically.
Right. Okay.
Disregard that.
But I thought it was funny. It's like, yes, this removes this ability. It's like, but it's only removing it once.
Right.
Shouldn't it say it replaces all of them? I mean, by raw, if it replaces one, that doesn't replace 2, 3, 4, 5.
I think if you go into the archetypes, if an archetype replaces a class feature that is part of a series of improvements or additions to a base ability, oh, maybe not. The next time the character would gain that ability, it counts as the lower level ability that was replaced by the archetype.
Right. So it just gets the lesser one, and that's how on my sheet. That's how I did it. I did it as like, oh, this +2 is actually not just a +1. So you don't actually lose all of the thing. You just lose one of the thing for something that's arguably much better.
I mean, Cinder Dance, basically evasion.
Right.
Yeah, that's pretty much just better. I agree.
So, yep. And so you're in your vision of your NPC, they're foot soldiers.
They are the slave soldiers of an evil empire, yes.
In my vision of these as NPCs, they're just barbarians. Like, there's no torment going on with them. They're just cragskin half-orcs that, like, are part of a cragskin Shawanti clan, and they're I don't know how to put it. They're kind of like a mixture between a medieval knight and a Mongolian I don't know, soldier. I don't know what the Mongolians had in their military.
I
It was all
mean,
cavalry, but I don't know what they called themselves.
yeah, I don't know off the top of my head either. I should play more Civilization probably.
I mean, the newest one's out.
But that's not
Like,
going to be any good until the expansions.
I find that they're usually better before expansions. The expansions ruins them, unless they add a Japanese civilization or an Irish civilization. In which case, that's when they got better. So yours breaks at level 6,
Yes.
but you can't afford that 6,000 gold piece worth of armor at level 6.
No, no. As NPCs, they pretty much have to carry weapons for quite a while. Or if you want to be cheeky, you could probably, as a game master, just make a single item, like a Sikatite slave collar that costs 50 gold, and the only thing that it does, it doesn't provide any cold resistance. It just burns the wearer every round. But again, that's according to the rules. There's no way to measure, like, no weight for Sikatite. It's just a weapon costs 1,000 and armor costs 6,000. Like, regardless of what type of weapon, like a spearhead costs the same as a 3 foot long bastard sword for some reason. I don't know why.
Actually, that
Some
is
other,
pretty interesting because that's that's the equivalent to a +1 bonus, right? No, it's
no,
half of a +1
yeah,
bonus
it's
because
half of a
+1 bonus
plus
is
one bonus.
2,000.
Right. Which makes it
That's
really
kind of crazy.
awkward when determining how to divvy up this weapon NPC thing.
Yeah.
Oh, at level
It
6, you get 2,350 gold. That's enough for a masterwork weapon. Or, no, not a masterwork. That's enough for a +2 weapon. Or not +2, +1.
a
God dang.
+1.
Yeah, +1 weapon. But it can't be Sikatite. Dang it. You can't actually get a Sikatite +1 weapon until level 9.
So since what type? What's your barbarian's weapon of choice then? I already told you mine. Since it's horseback, it's lance, right?
Um, he typically has a lance, but his weapon of choice is a battle axe. That's
Okay. You did say that you had a battle axe before.
yes,
So I mine the other weapon is a light mace.
a light mace.
Right, because it does bludgeoning. The lance does piercing. And because he has the beast totem, he has claws, which do slashing. So he has the 3 damage types covered in case he needs to use those damage types. Now, in my during combat tactics, it pretty much says from the point that he gets claws, yeah, he just ignores those claws. Unless he's in a real tight spot, he ignores those claws.
Yeah, if you get swallowed whole, you'll need the claws. But other than that,
Right, or if you're like grappled and you want to do full round attack actions because you get 2 claws, you can still like attack with both claws.
yeah,
Uh, but other than that, it's like the weapons, the amount of money the claw blades cost is like 300 gold.
I
That's
think
the
those are cat. I
equivalent.
think those are catfolk exclusive anyway.
Uh, it does hint that they are, but it doesn't outright say it. Because I was looking at it saying, "Oh, can anybody use these claw blades?" I think called claw blades.
Oh, that sounds familiar.
Yeah, claw
Exotic.
blades. So claw blades says the blades grant the wearer +1 enhancement bonus on claw attacks with the hand and the And oh no, this is the wrong one. No, this is it. Yeah, the blades grant a +1 enhancement on claw attack rolls with that hand and change the weapon type from natural weapon to light slashing weapon. And then after that, it says cat folk with cat claws, which will trait are proficient with this weapon. So other than that, it's just a martial weapon in the light category.
Oh, and here I thought it was exotic.
I mean, it seems like it should be, right? But I guess just having claws is exotic. These don't really make a lot of sense, but we'll just ignore that. The claw blades can be enhanced like a masterwork weapon for the normal cost, but if the blades grant the wearer +1 enhancement bonus, then isn't that already masterwork?
Yeah, yeah. Claw blades are just masterwork, natural claws, presumably.
Right. The listed cost item is 1 set of 5 claws for 1 hand. Which suggests that these are not made for catfolk. Catfolk don't have 5 claws. They would have 4 claws. And possibly a dew claw on the right? Because they have the 4 on the pad and the dew claw. Are they counting the dew claw?
I mean, I don't know if
like,
catfolk have dew claws. Like, what do Pathfinder catfolk even look like? I know they look more furry than. I don't know if I should.
You're gonna make me look this up.
Yeah, I don't know if I should do a Google search for. Images.
Oh, they don't have a picture on PFSRD.
I mean, of course, they are unreasonably provocative because the only people playing catfolk are furries.
I, at one point, for something that never really took off, created a catfolk crusader. And he was not provocative.
Yeah, well, I don't think you're a furry. Anyway.
Yeah, so definitely have 5 fingers like a human does.
Similar looks that way.
Unfortunate. I was thinking they'd have more cat-like appendages, but they do not. They literally just have a cat-like body and human hands.
I don't even say it's a cat-like body. It's pretty much just a human with cat features, which is better.
Like, yeah, sure. Although most of these pictures are... there is a picture of a kitty cat in a Paizo book, as in Discord.
Yeah.
So, yep, apparently they do exist, but they do have 5 things. Yeah, it literally just like a person with really messed up legs. And a cat head.
Digitigrade legs and a cat head.
Yep. But, yep. So I did make one of those before, but yes, the claw blades do have 5 blades because catfolk have 5 claws. Sure. So, we've talked about how these things advance, how yours broke, how mine's generically strong. We talked about a weakness of yours, which is just, ranged attacks, which depending on how armored your horse is and how fast it is, your range on a charge on your horse would be as long as a longbow's first range increment. They'd both be 100 feet.
That is true. And my my character's build, or the NPC foot soldier type of these characters, they all carry smoke sticks. So the goal is they create a smoke screen and you can't hit them from range. Alternatively, the other weakness is the calm emotions spell.
Right. I mean, that's just a weakness for barbarians in general, right? Like, because barbarians want a barbarian. They want to rage.
Right, right. But the difference is if you cast calm emotions on one of my characters, they take damage every turn, in addition to losing all of their cool barbarian powers. And also, until level 17, they are then fatigued forever.
Yeah, forever.
They will never be able to rage again.
1,000 years. Calm emotions. I am fatigued for 20,000 years. Oh man, that is awesome.
I mean, I could carry around potions of lesser restoration to remove fatigue, but
I'm surprised it's not just a stock thing on the NPC character sheet. Like, all right, if calm emotions is used, the barbarian asks everybody to wait for just a moment. Will you guys just wait? I just need to get a swig of this thing from my backpack. Oh, I feel much better now.
I mean, they're only 300 gold apiece. I'm sure I could fit that in sometimes.
Yeah, somewhere. Oh. So my Shawanti Burn Rider's biggest downfall is dun, 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 a massive, absolutely incredibly great 7 intelligence. So he only gets 1 skill per level, and he has to put it into ride just so he can get those feats.
That doesn't sound right. Barbarians typically get 4 plus intelligence skills per level, don't they?
Yeah, and a 7 is, oh, it'd be a -2, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I guess he does get 1 more skill point per level. But that would just go into handle animal, because he still has to, like, do the animal thing.
Well, sort of. So per the rules for animal companions, you get a +4 bonus on handle animal checks. So that can overcome your charisma penalty, which I'm sure you have.
Correct.
Yes, that's what I thought. I used an NPC stat spread. I used a NPC stat spread on my elf, who also has a charisma penalty. But you get a +4 bonus to handle your animal companion, no other animal companion. And I believe that the bonus tricks that your animal companion learns, you don't need to train.
You do not. You are correct. However, to push your animal to do something they wouldn't normally do is still required using a handle animal. So even though it can be untrained and you get a +4, there's just flat out a chance that you say, "Charge, my mighty charger," and it just looks at you and says, "Nay." No, those are adventurers down there. Those aren't your normal dudes that we would. I recognize those. Those are the PCs. We're not fighting this. Like,
well, if you use your bone, okay, so at level 4, which would be level 7 unless you get Boon Companion, at level 7, your 4th level advancement is combat training for your horse.
right. Yep.
So it's just combat trained. It's combat ride combat riding trained as part of being a horse. So one of your bonus tricks can be the second attack, and it will attack anything that you tell it
Right.
to.
Yeah, that's one of the base ones that I take is for it to do that. So.
Okay, yeah. But yeah, there's that those 3 levels from levels 4, 5, and 6 where you're just kind of reliant on the die to get your horse to do basic things.
Yep. You're very what was it Johnny Depp in that movie where he rides a horse with no name or whatever? Uh, I don't remember what the name of the movie is, but I'm sure there's a horse and it doesn't do what he wants it to. Not the one where he's a pirate, the one where he's a Native American.
I I think that's Lone Ranger, but he doesn't ride the horse with no name. The horse
Oh,
has a
well,
name. I think that's a song. I never
whatever.
actually saw that movie. It looked terrible.
I also never saw that movie because it looked terrible.
Like, why does
Uh,
he have a dead crow on his head?
are you questioning Native American stuff?
Well, yes.
You're like at least cinematic Native American things I'm questioning.
Because I don't know. I don't think there's a tribe that does that.
No, it really sounds like a goblin thing, doesn't it?
It really does sound like a goblin thing. Which, you know, maybe Johnny Depp is a goblin. I don't know. He seems pretty tall
Uh,
for a goblin. He could be multiple goblins and like stacked on top of each other in a trench coat.
he does wear trench coats quite often. Maybe. I think we're onto something here. We'll explore this more in a future episode.
Yeah, that sounds like a plan.
So, your character could could somebody just click on the link and play as your burn rider? Could they just say, "I'm going to play this today in this campaign,"
Well,
and it's 1 to 20?
as soon as I'm finished with the gear. Also, if you want to play it as a character. I would recommend taking a few different things than I took. I have recommendations for swapping out feats for a player character as opposed to an NPC. My NPCs are wildly inaccurate, um, partially because they've got NPC stats, so he starts with a 15 strength, and he takes power attack and reckless rage. So he just takes massive penalties to his already low to hit. But he hits pretty hard.
Yeah. So I don't use the NPC stat block for these. So technically, at every level, mine are a boss. I use a 20-point buy system.
I also have a 20-point buy recommendation. I guess I could pull it up. I won't go into all of the character sheets, well, all of the stat blocks specifically, because we're not going through that. But I recommend, well, not choosing elf, honestly, if you want to be a barbarian that can never use any intelligence, charisma, or wisdom skills, then I probably recommend a gnoll or something like that with bonuses to physical attributes. But my recommended stat block for player character on this character is 17, 14, 16, 7, 10, 7,
Okay.
which sounds like it's very similar to what you did. You've probably got
Yeah.
more dex and less con.
Yep. Because mine, level one, mine were 17, 16, 10
10
for
con.
wisdom. So
Oh,
yeah, wisdom was 10. Uh, let's see. How do I want to do it this way? Okay. I'll just do them while raging because that's the stack block they have. While raging, your strength would be 21, your dex would be 16, your con would be 20, your intelligence 7, your wisdom 12, your charisma 7. And all of his points go into handle animal and ride. Uh, Primarily because ride is one of the few skills you can use while raging that like handle animal and like I believe handle animal and ride are both ones you can use while raging, despite the fact that they are not strength.
I
Period.
don't know if you can use handle animal normally. I know that there's a trait called coherent rage, and I think that allows you to use handle animal. Let's see here.
I might be wrong.
Charisma, dexterity, or intelligence-based skills except acrobatics, fly, intimidate, and ride.
Okay. So yeah, you can't even use handle animal while raging. So that's almost purely like prior to raging or outside of combat. Uh, but riding, I guess, is fine. At that point, I don't really know how you would urge your animal uh, to like charge into four heavily armored and clearly magical PCs or NPCs. Just
I'll-
because handle animal itself doesn't really like it.
well, I know a lot of game masters won't care at all. Um,
I know that I wouldn't. Just because of how heavily it hamstrings a character that has an animal companion to say, yeah, you have to push your animal each time you do this. And since you're a raging barbarian that for some reason gets an animal companion, you can never push your animal.
let's see here. With the... I want to say with the link ability. Where is that link ability? Druid can handle her animal companion as a free action. Push it as a move action. Even if she doesn't have any ranks in handle animal skill. Regarding an animal companion. So no, yeah, that doesn't even... The link ability of an animal companion doesn't even do it.
Yep.
I was also looking around for maybe a compatible archetype with elemental companion to get rid of share spells, but I don't think it's worth it. There is one that gets rid of share spells in devotion, but I think it makes it harder to handle the animal.
Yeah, it's interesting because I was looking at the shared spells and I'm like, well, that's a wasted thing we get.
Yep.
But to push your animal, it says to push an animal means to get it to perform a task or trick that it doesn't know, but is physically capable of performing. So I guess if it knows the trick attack or attack the other thing, it's fine.
Yeah.
But there's also no like charge.
You're right. There's no like ride or passenger or anything like that either.
So it is really interesting because it's like, all right, well, I'm a charge. Like everybody charges with their animal. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
what? Are you just telling your animal to move here to there? No, I'm telling it to do the charge action, so its AC is lower. So my AC is lower. Well, there's no command for that. So isn't that always a push?
I mean, I would say that it's covered under combat riding trained. General training for combat riding.
Uh, it knows some tricks.
Right, like attack, come, defend, down, guard, and heal. It's called combat riding, but it doesn't have anything to do with actually riding it in general. So,
Right.
you know.
But that's
Getting
just
very-
where it's just interesting where it's like there's no actual like charge command. So it's like GM Fiat, whether it's like, well, to get it to do something that you don't have a trick for, but it's capable of doing, you have to push it. Or you could say, well, technically the charge is just an attack, which is fine for pounce. Hey, charge this thing and attack it. Okay, well, the tilt, though, when you're doing a ride-by attack, isn't that. You're literally saying, hey, go provoke an attack of opportunity from this creature. But do it quickly, very quickly and recklessly.
I think ride by attack actually prevents the attack of opportunity, but I get where you're going with that.
Yeah, it does. But once again, the animal has a 2 intelligence. It might not understand that.
Hey, Linlin. What kind of character are you making, Linlin? Have you considered a Burn Rider Barbarian?
If you haven't, do I have the sheets for you?
Do we have sheets for you?
Lin, what Dampier Warlock? I didn't even know Warlock was a thing in Pathfinder.
It is. It is a vigilante archetype.
Oh, okay. It's one of those.
I personally hate the Dampier as a race. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. I've never made a Dampier. Every time I try, I'm just like, ugh. Constitution penalty, negative energy alignment. Oh, it's so hard. Unless you've got a whole party of Dampier, it's just not gonna work. Or or like a vampire oracle or whatever or undeath oracle or characters that benefit from negative energy. It's so hard to make those work.
I have never played with anybody playing as a Dampier. There is a guy that I used to play with who used to talk about playing a Dampier investigator. It was very a Dresden styled character. And I remember hearing about it and thinking, that sounds awful. And no, that sounds like it was a lot of fun for you, not the rest of your party. But you seemed like you had fun. One of those things where certain classes and races, when mixed together, just drag a game to a grinding fucking halt every time they open their mouth.
It is really hard to.
Kaza and Mrs. O'Lady.
Yes, Mrs. O'Lady. Oh.
I'm going to be a psychic investigator. Look at all these books. It's like, Matthew, just move on from the fucking library, bro.
They don't give their characters the appropriate attribute penalties for playing ancient characters either.
Oh. Interesting.
One really cool thing about the Dampier characters, though, is that you can get vampiric companions.
Like
just
bats?
you can turn any of your companion animals or familiars into undead. They literally become like vampire. They basically get the vampire template. It's awesome. It's such a good feat.
Lin, I hope every time you do that, every single time, you play off as if your character is extremely injured. Oh, no, you got me again. Oh, I'm just kidding. Or rage. Select one of the following skills: bluff, escape, artist, handle animal, or stealth. Vampire companion.
Yes, vampire companion. The coherent rage ability or trait specifically adds one of those skills that is normally prohibited during rage to your options. Alternatively, you could do the ancestor totem barbarian rage power tree. I don't recommend it though. It's probably terrible, especially if you're going my build where you never stop raging. Ancestor totem. So Lesser selects a skill of her choice that she can use while raging, such as Climb or Intimidate, so that doesn't do anything by itself. Ancestor Totem Medium can now select any skill to receive this bonus, even Charisma or Dexterity or Intelligence-based skills that require patience or concentration. So with the Ancestor Totem and the build that I'm going, you can put it into diplomacy and just have raging diplomacy.
That sounds like a sex joke.
It does. It sounds terrible. But I'm just so angry, but you're such a smooth talker when you're angry. It makes no sense.
You won't like me when I'm angry, and I'm always angry.
You will like me when I'm angry.
No, you won't like me. You'll still do what I say, but you won't like it. Oh.
But yes, if you want to burn forever as an immortal, actually, if you want to be like truly immortal rather than playing as an elf, you probably want to play as what is the immortal race called again? Common
Gnomes who are
race.
always having fun. Female gnomes. Because
um,
girls just want to have fun. Let's see.
maybe it's not on PFSRD. Maybe it's a actual Paizo original race.
Oh, you need to use that awesome site, Archives of Nephis.
I do. I wish the search function was a lot faster, but they've got a lot of not the Reborn Sincere. Those don't count. Shabti, right? Yeah, there we go. The Shabti get Constitution and Charisma bonuses. Obviously, Charisma is useless on this particular build. So they are literally immortal. They do not age naturally and can't die of old age. So you could canonically trap this character burning. I mean, I guess they still have to eat. So give them a ring of sustenance, and they can literally burn for eternity.
When don't they still? They still get tired, right?
Yeah,
If it's not an elf.
that's true. I believe. Yeah, they still get tired.
So eventually they just die in their sleep, right?
Unless you have the Raging Vitality feat, which allows you to rage while sleeping.
Oh, that's stupid.
Every part of this character is stupid. It's like I have a character that literally hurts themselves forever.
Oh.
Whenever you are raging, the morale bonus to your constitution increases by +2, and your rage does not end if you become unconscious. While unconscious, you must still expend rounds of rage per day each round.
So on the Archives of Nephis, under the NPCs, the Barbarian, the Savage Mercenary, starts with a breastplate, a greatsword, and a heavy flail. And that it's a half CR creature, which means it's 1 HD, which means it's already busted its entire budget.
I think that the heroic NPCs start with like 390 gold. How much is a greatsword?
I don't know, but a breastplate's 200. And I've only listed 3 pieces of gear. It still has other pieces of gear.
Greatswords are 50. You said a heavy mace?
Heavy flail.
Heavy flail. So that's a two-handed weapon. That's 15 gold. So 265 gold in weapons alone. I mean,
Yep. Not to mention the potion of cure light, the potion to move fear, and the alchemist fire.
okay, so that's another 110.
But it can't spend more than 150 on defenses. And the breastplate's 200.
Yeah. Yeah. There's
They break their own rules all the time.
all the time. Absolutely everywhere. Just get a shield and bash your way through everything. There are absolutely, we could do a shield build for fighters if we wanted to. That's not my plan. I do have 3 fighters set up right now.
Okay.
But that looks like it'll be 4 weeks from now. Next week, do you want to talk about what kind of bard we want to build?
Oh man, no, you have to give me. This isn't how this works. You give me the bard and archetype, the class and the archetype, and I make the generically strong version, and you make whatever the fuck you just broke.
Okay, so I have 3 bards built currently. One is a generic archer bard. It's generically strong. It's a bard that's an elven archer. I have a melee bard who focuses on the dirge spell, not spell, dirge of doom bardic performance, and then I have the Disney princess. I feel like that would be the most interesting to see how you do it.
Well, the Disney princess, you'd have to give me your. So it's a bard. It's a bard what?
It is a bard duettist and animal speaker.
And animal speaker.
I have 2 archetypes for this one.
Okay, and since they do not conflict with each other, you are allowed to have multiples.
Correct.
Then I will do a generically strong bard duettist / animal speaker. That I don't. Is there a generically strong for that? Am I just making a bard at that point?
You're probably just making a bard at that point. The thing with duettist is that their familiar can sing with them.
Making it a better song?
Yes, or multiple different songs at the same time. Once you get Shadow Bard up, and I think there's another spell that allows you to maintain a bardic performance. You can have like 4 different performances going, or 3 performances. One is more powerful than the other, all at the same time. Of course, you give up Dirge of Doom and Inspire Competence.
Use Fascinate. You can't use Fascinate.
You can't use Fascinate or Suggestion or Dirge of Doom.
This is... You do get just that. That's something.
Yeah. I think it's really funny. Like when I made Princess, I literally just wanted to make a Disney princess, and I figured, what better way to make a Disney princess than a singing girl that has a singing rabbit?
Oh yeah, I know how to make this generically strong.
Animals lover. Animal speaker. They get the ability to speak with animals at will, but the important part is the animal friend ability. So they pick an animal, a type of animal like cats or dogs, and animals of this kind have a starting attitude of at least indifferent towards the bard and never attack them unless they attack first.
Yeah, but the most important thing to the generically strong build is the animal speaker summon nature's ally.
Yes.
Because if you and your animal companion or familiar are both able to boost an ally dramatically that you put on the battlefield, that's essentially, it's like casting whatever your CR is against whatever you're going against.
Yep. And you can summon swarms of far more powerful creatures because you've got 5 bardic performances going all at the same time. And like Inspire Heroics gives them extra hit dice. D10 with full bab, I believe. They're like fighter hit dice.
Yeah, the problem with that is with the swarms is that swarms generally don't one-shot creatures, and Pathfinder 1E is exciting because there's always that threat of being one-shot. And swarms generally don't one-shot.
That's true. But that's the bardic performance attract rats ability where you summon swarms.
Yep.
Well, you can also summon Nature's Ally.
Right. The Summon Nature's Ally is where you're gonna get like something with a scythe or an axe. Oh, no. That's summon monster. Summon Nature's Ally would have to be something with a big bite. Something with some form of charge attack that you can be like, get that thing, and have it just wreck with a single charge.
Like a Celestial Dire Boar or something like that.
Yeah, something like that. Unfortunately, this only goes up to Summon Nature's Ally 6, but with enough buffs, it's like this is going to be one of those builds that probably peaks like level 12, level 13, and then it's just kind of good after that. But it is still a bard, so it's going to have a bunch of skills. So it's never going to be useless. It's just going to be less combat useful.
So, Linlin, do others also have to hear what the animal sings to get the buff? The animal can just sing in your language. Yes. It counts as doing the same performance that you would do. So, in order to boost your Summon Nature's Ally abilities, there are rings like Ring of Natural Attunement Drake, which adds things like Desert Drakes. Well, no, actually, that's the 9th level. Frost Drakes, Flame Drakes, things like that. Summon Nature's Ally really likes having Flame Drakes because those can fly, and that's something that's not really on the Nature's Ally lists very much. It's a bard, so they'll start to bang everything in sight, meaning he's still viable. I mean, I didn't think about that, but my Disney princess has a rabbit, and they like to multiply, right?
They are good at math, yes. I cringed when Lin typed that because never in any of my games have we ever even acknowledged when there was a player doing that kind of thing.
Yeah, you just kind of moving on.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, I'm going to seduce this waitress. There's no waitresses, moving on. They're all dudes. You seduce a dude. Hope you like dick. Well, he's not gay. If you think about or you think about dudes in the shower while you masturbate, you're gay, okay? You don't need to hide it. It's fine.
The dragon is a top.
I mean, I was going to get into the fact that dragons can take human form in this game and they can do whatever they want, but we'll leave that one alone for now. But yeah, this works. I will next week I will have the bard, generically strong bard, duelist, animal speaker, to go with your fucked up broken build where you have fucking Elsa summoning Olaf or whatever you do. That's a Disney princess and Olaf's a rabbit or something, right?
I believe Olaf is a snowman. So if I wanted to get improved familiar, that's I guess I could get a ice elemental. Shrek reference. I don't remember Donkey being that good at singing, but I guess there are other performances that a bard can do in Pathfinder.
Yeah,
like,
I mean,
is cooking waffles a performance?
Seems like bards don't even need to have a perform skill, okay?
That's true, but generally you want one because versatile performance is so freaking powerful. Especially the advanced versatile performance.
Linlin allegedly. We don't know if those are his.
Yeah.
Anyway, uh, Tony, you'll probably end up posting this to sometime. I'll send you the link to my character sheets, and then right before you post it, and we can put them on the description. That's all we got for the Shawanti Burn Riders. Generically strong is a Cavalier build that tries to one-shot backliners and disrupt all the other things. The fucked up Burned Forever build, literally you find in a tomb in the dark, and he's been raging for 10,000 years, or she has, or they have. Can you... Never mind. Can you masturbate while raging? Is that a skill check?
I think it requires concentration.
But
Actually,
anyway.
you know what? I saw Devilman Crybaby. Yes.
Devil make what?
Devilman Crybaby.
Should I safe search that?
It's on Netflix, so no. I wouldn't.
Look, last time I heard the name Crybaby, I thought it was Johnny Depp.
Oh yeah, I
Oh, was it
remember
a-
that.
Wait, is that an anime?
Yes. I think it's a Netflix original, for whatever that means. It's a remake of a 90s, early 90s? Actually, was Devilman originally 80s? I mean, I could talk about it, anime for another hour.
Yeah. Either way, though, I'm out. That was our time for talking about Pathfinder First Edition. First Edition only.
Yes, first edition only. Ending is pretty lame.
Yes.
I mean, what can you do about like how do you end a story like that other than the natural conclusion, which is everything bad happens.
I'm trying to think of like bad anime endings.
1972. Good grief. I thought it was like 80s. Jeez. That's old. Anyway.
So is it as lame as three people, 23 episodes in, and they just go, and walk away from each other, and that's the end? I'm looking at you, Samurai Champloo.
that
Is it that bad? Is it so bad they're just like, yeah, we're done here, and they all just fucking leave?
I mean, I don't know. It's not that lame. I guess the antagonist realizes that he, even though he won, he lost in the end.
Sure.
I mean,
That
the
sounds-
antagonist is Satan, so
That does sound like a 1970s 2 style anime, to be honest.
yeah, there was a lot of that, and environmental messages. Don't forget the environmental messages in 1970s and 80s anime.
Yeah,
And
that's
blue
kinda
gender.
crazy. Like nobody ever heeded those.
They're probably not important. We haven't seen any negative effects yet.
No, of course not. Oh, why is it so hot? It's so unbearably hot. It's like a really convenient thing. If I would have known that it was gonna be so hot, it's so inconvenient that it's so hot right now. Anyway, I'm out till next week. Monday, I'm gonna say roughly 8 o'clock, and we'll go over the strongest character in the game. At least probably the most played character, even though it shouldn't be, the Bard.
The Bard.
And until then, I'm out. Cilantro.
All right, stay classy.